Jones at SteveGJones.com. He's a board-certified clinical hypnotherapist. He has been practicing hypnotherapy since 1980s. He is the author of over 22 best-selling books. He's a member of the National Guild of Hypnotists, American Board of Hypnotherapy. I'm telling you, man, my hypnotherapy must be wearing out. President of the American Alliance of Hypnotists, and on the board of directors of the Los Angeles chapters of the American Lung Association. My friend, Steve G. Jones, welcome back to Money for Lunch.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
Well, first of all, it's happy birthday, right?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you knowing that.
You bet. All right, well, let's talk about this. Last time you were on the show, we talked about, affirmations, and then I know that we also talked about a case, a young lady who was bullied and ended up she committed suicide. She died over this call it bullying or whatever it is self-talk. Walk us through this. How does somebody get to that point where suicide becomes a good alternative?
Well, this was a child. I believe it was a teenager. If my understanding is correct, I did not work with this particular person. By the time it came to my attention, she had already passed away, unfortunately. But this is somewhat prevalent in younger people who are they're not children, they're not adults yet, they're teenagers. Because they're very vulnerable. They're attempting to figure out who they are in the world and how they measure up against their peers and what kind of future they'll have. And they assess their environment and they say, well, this is very hostile. Now, this particular girl was being picked on ruthlessly by her peer group. People saying that she's no good, making threats to her. I mean, it's just a constant bombardment. And when it gets to that point, sometimes the person just says, well, I think I'll just check out because this is probably the way that adulthood is going to go as well. So it's an unusual situation. It's very unfortunate that bullying goes to that extreme now. We've done such a good job of getting rid of hate crimes and, people being, when I was a kid, it was, if someone was gay, they were picked on. If someone was a different color, they weren't tolerated, that kind of thing. We've done such a good job about that. But apparently just these isolated incidents of bullying, we have not done a good job on. So subconsciously, the mind just says, well, these things, either they're true or they're not, but they're relentless. And I need to get myself out of this situation. And sometimes teens see only taking their lives as the way out, unfortunately, and not realizing that there are many other options.
Sure. And I know it does happen with teens, but it happens with everybody, right? I mean, adults do it, probably more than teens. I think it seems like adults use this and as a way of checking out, like you said, a last resort. Let's talk about this. We talked about affirmations. Obviously, affirmations can be good or bad, depending on what you're saying to yourself. And let me rephrase it. When would you start, if you were raising kids, if you were going to sit down and talk to parents about our self-talk and our own natural way of hypnotizing ourselves through affirmations or self-talk, however you want to use that. It seems to me like this would be a good thing to start as they're going from elementary school to junior high, right? I mean, am I thinking in the right direction, or am I thinking too late? Should you start talking about your kid about using self-talk earlier than that?
Well, I would do both. The feelings we get about ourselves and our environment up until the age 5, those are very important. For example, my mother passed away when I was 6, and her desire was to see my 6th birthday. 2 days later, she passed away. She had leukemia. I'm so thankful now, as I'm more knowledgeable about child psychology, that she made it all the way through, age 5. It's so crucial, the programming we get, the love we get, the nurturing we get, and so forth. But then again, we also have this troublesome period, as we all know, when we are young adults, we're young teens. So I would say that it's very important early on, and then we kind of have this period where we're just kind of floating along, and then puberty happens, and then things start happening where we start realizing, oh, okay, well, there's some sort of a competition going on for the the dating pool and that kind of thing, and it starts to matter to us because the hormones are kicking in, and we start to assess ourselves against our our peers and those who are competing against us. Essentially, if we look at ourselves as sort of almost animalistic, competing against each other for relationships. And so we start to judge ourselves. At that point, it becomes important again that we understand our place in the world as being firm and us as being okay.
Yeah, I like that. And let's talk about this real quick, because I know at SteveGJones.com, and I say this all the time, not just on the show, but I say this all the time. I don't think there's a larger library of hypnotherapy audios than at StevenGJones.com, because this is an amazing thing. You have everything there from, you name it, from confidence to weight loss to, anything that might ail somebody. And it's just, first of all, a great amount of work that you took developing this, and it's just, I think it's great that it's available to everybody.
Well, thanks. And it was all driven by customer requests. Years ago when I was creating these recordings, we had a lot of emails. Do you have a recording on nail biting? Do you have a recording on fear of flying? Do you have a recording on motivation? And the response would always be the same: no, but we will soon. And so we put that on our to-do list, and I spent about 2 years just recording all of these recordings on all of these different topics. So now we have about 250 different topics covered, all kinds of things, just to make sure that we've got out there what people actually need in order to enhance their lives.
I love it. And let me ask you this, because I know that you have different levels of recording there. There are some that are just, I guess you call them recordings, and then I see some that are diamonds, and some that are bilateral, I think is what it was, or something like that. Walk me through the difference.
Well, we have about 22 different ones. All you'll see at SteveGJones.com are two types. You'll just see gold and platinum. So gold are the shorter ones, platinum are the longer ones. Gold's a half hour, platinum's an hour. And so we keep it very streamlined at SteveGJones.com. If you manage to get on our email list, you'll get different offers for our different recordings. And as I've said, we have over 20 different types of recordings. We have subliminal recordings where the music is over the words, so all you hear is the music and the words are underneath. And then we have daytime recordings designed to be listened to in the daytime, so they're not hypnosis, and you can listen to them in a vehicle. And we have different variations on those themes.
Gotcha. Hey, Steve, they're giving me the signal that we're out of time. I want to say thank you so much. Have happy Thanksgiving, and also a very happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. Great being here.
All righty. Everybody, Steve G. Jones, check him out at SteveGJones.com. If you don't believe hypnosis works, check it out. He's got a money-back guarantee. And I'm just letting you know because I consider Steve G. Jones a friend of mine, and also the fact that I know that his stuff works. I use it personally. And so if you go over there, you can check it out, and you can find out something that works for you, test it, and see. And I think you'll have a lot of fun, and I think you'll like the results. Anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
For more information about hypnosis products, please check out SteveGJones.com.